like that one. I really like
The last one. The last one of the 30, right?
It's like, yeah.
That was the new trilogy, or the old stuff.
The new trilogy. The new trilogy.
Oh, okay. Okay, I haven't.
Well, it's just so.
It was good.
So much emotion.
Yeah.
So much emotion in that one. Like so much emotion.
Whose side were you on though?
Oh, the gorillas. Definitely.
Really?
The apes. Yeah.
Bad ape.
Dude, those original ones used to scare the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah, same here.
Oh yeah.
And then I caught up on ETR this morning. That fucking Pennywise thing that like talks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So you don't want that for your birthday?
No, I don't want that anywhere near me. I don't even want to be at a show and have someone point out that it's there in the same building.
So what would you do? What if we bought it for you as a crew?
I'd put it in the other room and stay out of that room.
E.T.
Gary. That thing is pretty creepy. It is pretty creepy, but I didn't watch a lot of the old school Planet of the Apes. Like whenever it was on, I was never like that interested. And I remember as a kid, always sort of like flicking to something else. But the new trilogy, this one that just recently wrapped up, that was good.
Well, it'd show up on those like they'd run it like on the one local station like Monday through Friday, right? They'd like run like all the movies in order over the course of like a week, and it'd be like a big like marketing thing in the TV guide and stuff. And it was the gorillas. Like the chimps, like their costumes didn't freak me out so much, but the gorillas just scared me when I was little. But I was like 4, so I could see.
Were the rest of you guys up on that like back in the day? Like,
yeah, I used to watch them as a kid too.
Did you?
Yeah, like the old school Planet of the Apes. Like I mean, I didn't know what order they were in, but when they used to come out on TV or whatever, I used to watch them all the time. I used to find them fascinating.
It just reminded me of like sort of like old school, like that 60s like Star Trek, the original Star Trek, like I don't know, there was just something about it. It was like it didn't really catch my interest. If you watch those old ones, any correlation to the new ones?
Not really. I mean they made a newer one that kind of made sense of what happened. I thought so, at least with the Mark Wahlberg story. I mean, they flipped it with the new ones with the whole gas that's changing them, and that's why the human race got fucking wiped out. Spoilers, whoever hasn't watched Canada by now. But I mean, with the old school ones, the movies were different too. I don't know if you guys ever watched all of them, but like, they were ones that were like Mad Max like.
Yeah. So I remember watching a documentary about them, and I just thought it was fascinating. There were 2 things. There was always these accounts of when they would do the makeup for like the chimps and like then the orangutans and then the gorillas. The actors, when they would break for meals or smoke breaks and stuff and like lunches, they would end up segregating themselves based on the type of primate that they were dressed up as. It was like fascinating to see all these pictures, and it wasn't like done on purpose. It was just kind of they naturally were like in character, and they would do that. But it's actually one of the few franchises that, with while they made each from movie to movie, what are there like 6 of them? I think the original ones, they became like less popular in terms, but they made more money. It was interesting just to see it. So every sequel made more money after the previous one.
I'm curious, did they all go like I don't know this? Did they all go to theater or were they like made?
They all they were on the theater back in the day.
They were, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, they all seem like official movies.
So like Ernest never went to Planet of the Apes or anything like that.
I don't think so, but they they did go to space again, and some time jumps and
like Jason,
some other planets and stuff. It was like it got kind of interesting.
Jason
Apes in Hell.
Remember that?
And then Mark Wahlberg showed up.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that was the one. Well, I always hear that's the one that gets shitted on, though. Is that true? Like, is that the bad one? Suppose. Quote,
it wasn't that. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, you got to take it in context of 2001 and what else was in the theaters. Of course, it's no Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot better than that.
It was a lot better.
It also came out in 2001. Let's see.
Does Gak Face have a differing opinion? He seems like he doesn't like it.
What?
The Mark Wahlberg. Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I mean it's better than Fast and Furious. Like Dave
Oh, that's not even an opinion. That's not even subjective. That's objectively false.
for you, Gary.
No, for many people, considering Fast and Furious is the number one franchise for
Mm.
Universal Studios.
Point. Point there.
That's not a lot saying.
Yeah,
It's
that's not saying a whole lot.
Which
You're not winning me over, Gary.
how many other franchises have 9 films in them?
Star Wars.
Yeah, over 35 fucking years.
Didn't Universal do E ET?
How many Land Before Times remakes did they make?
Was
Like,
that
a
your
lot.
Those were up there too. Like,
Yeah.
They're all on. They're all on somewhere. Amazon,
Yeah.
I think, right now. You should watch those.
Yeah.
Did
There was a-
they ever? Did you guys ever have those like creature weeks on TV when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Where they do like. I used to love that when they do the tarantula movie one night and like the movie with the worms one night and
I don't remember that.
USA Up All Night.
I know it's Shark Week. They do.
was this in the 70s? I don't recall this.
yeah, no, it would have been like in the early 80s and it was usually like a local station would do like creepy crawly weeks. There'd be like the movie with
I
the tarantulas, one with like the bees, that would attack like the school buses.
I was too young.
Yeah,
I was
dude, it
still swimming around in my dad's nutsack at that time.
it was yeah.
This was just last week for Gary. What are you guys talking about?
You remember those days with them movies? Remember that?
I think I start remembering shit around like 86, 87. Like really, like.
The reason that Energon Attic isn't remembering stuff has nothing to do with his age. Okay?
Exactly. It's just a smoky haze.
Literally.
Just saying.
Forgot what I ate for lunch, damn it.
Just saying.
All right. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 109 of Breaking the Mold. We are your Tuesday night delight here on the Realm of Collective YouTube channel. I'm Harrican BX. I'll say what's up to the rest of the crew. First up, JD, wearing the Casey Jones mask. How are you tonight, Pop?
I'm doing all right there, hose brain.
Sweet.
That's your best Casey Jones.
Straight
Whatever
from
you
the
say,
movie, man.
Whatever you say, elf lips.
You forgot the wig.
I want to finish that alphabet. Let's try and finish that alphabet tonight. So,
What are we on?
I. Yeah, they left off at H. So.
That was a good scene.
Mhm. So yeah, I'm doing all right. Just trying to stay busy. Just like that.
Awful.
Are you still tatting people up?
Nope.
So
Been at home for since last Thursday. So yeah, so I made the decision to not go into work. We closed down anyway, like the day after I made my decision. I do compromise people's immune systems for a living, so
Yeah.
it's probably a good idea not to do that at this point in time.
yes, sir.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Nope.
Okay.
Hey, they pay me to do it, so whatever.
Nice.
But
That's
I still have people hitting me up. They're like, "Hey, are we still on?"
I got plenty of time now.
Like, no, dude. Like, everything's fucking closed. Why would I? No, I'm sorry. Kind of sucks, but
people here be doing shit out their cribs and shit. You don't ever consider doing something like that?
fuck that shit, man. I don't want people coming to my house. Those people. I mean, a lot of the people that I tattoo are nice people. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't want them coming to my house.
Yeah, I'm with JD. I can
Plain
appreciate
and
that.
simple.
Shit, he was like, I don't want fucking filth coming to my house.
Nah, they're like I said, they're good people. I just, I got to keep home and work kind of
Yes,
as separate as I can, and like
Mm,
I don't want to work from home.
that's right. That's right. This is not drug dealing in the 80s.
Yo, Jose,
No.
you were reading my mind. Bro. I swear to God. I was just thinking that right now.
You know how that goes. Dude.
Oh shit.
All right. G Money, how are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm a little tired. I'm kind of with you, Jose. Like I'm still working, so
Mhm.
it's just every day, a little bit at a time, and just being super careful and super safe, and trying to keep the company functioning for right now. So it's it's a precarious time for us. Great time to open.
Jesus
but
Christ.
uh,
Florida doesn't give two shits about their old people.
listen, it's no, to be fair, we're taking all kinds of like super precautions and continuous maintenance. That's actually what's killing me is we've got this like Oravix like hospital spray. Really talking about the social distancing, like literally limiting the number of people that can come into the facility and such. So it's fine. It's been fine. I've been fortunate with the team that I've got. And but it's just it's a lot of just making sure people still feel okay. I had people relocate from out of state, for this assignment, and checking on them to make sure they feel good. So it's everything is fine. I don't want to be down about it. It's just a bit exhausting, as I'm sure everybody else feels, in different ways. So
I have that image of you coming out of one of your cars in like that Back to the Future hazmat suit that Michael J. Fox comes out.
to be
This car is
fair,
perfect.
the people who need help though, they appreciate it and they understand, what you're trying to do, and I think they just appreciate that we're still there to help them. So, but no, I was talking about before we went on. The weekend was fine. I got sucked into some pseudo reality show on Netflix, so that killed about 8 hours of time between Saturday and the Sunday on the Tiger King. So I highly recommend it. It's a fascination. I thought it was going to be all about the big cats and rescue and that type of issue here in the United States about exotic animals trying to be kept as pets, and it really wasn't. It was like being in the middle of a Walmart on its best day, and just people watching. So it's a good entertaining watch, I think.
All right. Nice. Dominic, how are you?
Pretty good. I've been home. I've been working from home since not this past Thursday, but the last Thursday. So I've been kind of working here. My company. The funny thing is like I work in Newark, so like Prudential is big in Newark. There's like 2 buildings in Newark for Prudential, and they actually took off like a week and a half before we did. Like they were gone a week half before we did. So a lot of like Newark, getting into Newark was easy because there was not much traffic. But eventually my company kind of said, took suit and said, everybody work from home. So non-essential, but like, I guess I'm not essential, which I'm okay with that.
How I mean, I know you're like used to doing it before, but are you okay like working from home? Because I know like some people probably like prefer to have the work set up since
it's a lot of the thing is that we have this project going on, so it's a lot of webinar kind of meetings that are going on, so it's we're not required to keep the cameras on. Like my camera's not on tonight, but like it's not a requirement when we do these webinars at work. So it's like some people have their cameras on. It's funny because you see like they didn't comb their hair, or they're all just just said fuck it.
It was like my online schooling that I was in yesterday. I had 2 online sessions and I saw people like just laying down. They had their covers over them and shit. Another one cooking dinner. It's just fucking funny.
It's hilarious, but it's like I said, like it's kind of nice. It's definitely convenient. I don't have to fucking pay for parking every fucking day, which is nice. But
I mean, you don't have to go nowhere. You can work in your underwear.
Yeah, so I do my 8 hours, and you got an extra 2 hours of free time because I'm not driving to and from work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's nice. But and it's actually freed up some time for me to actually start watching TV. So I like Gary said, I've actually stole my brother's Netflix account, and I started watching some old shows that I haven't seen. So a lot of the things that you guys talked about last year, I'm catching up on. So
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice, but it's definitely, I can see like we're not scheduled back until like April 19th. So that's what the tentative date is right now. So I don't know whether they're going to extend that or anything else, depending on how crazy it gets or not gets. But it's I can see like maybe a month here doing this. It's going to be kind of I want to get out. Like today, me and my wife just got out. Like we took a walk for a half hour outside because it was so nice just to get out of the house. Because as you stay in the house, you kind of like want to get out and not stay in here for 2 days. And the rain doesn't help either. So it's like I guess it was Monday. Was it Monday that it was raining all day? Yeah, it was kind of crappy. So
today it was nice and bright outside.
It was nice.
Yeah.
So. But it's doing my part. It sucks because I got two parents that are very high risk, and I usually would go. If you guys know, if everybody, my mom's going through chemo, so it's like for her it just definitely sucks. She's fighting cancer, and now this whole bullshit happens, and for her it's like scary because she's battling cancer, trying to fight the good fight, and now she, it's enough hurdles for her to jump, and now she has this thing to worry about.
Something else to worry about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but for me, I would go over there like at least 3 times a week, and now I don't because it's just a risk for her, for me, coming over there. God forbid if I have anything, or if I'm, and with this whole thing being, 14-day, kind of could be in your system and you don't know, and all that bullshit. And so I just tend to keep away from her. I give her phone calls, but it's totally different. Like, it's not the same because,
is she computer literate like enough to do stuff like this? Where you
FaceTime,
yeah. Like
I FaceTime. I FaceTime her, but like, it's not the same, but like, it's nice. She has her moments, I'm sure if people ever gone through a parent or somebody who's going through chemo, they have their highs, they have their lows, and sometimes when those lows happen, it's nice to be there trying to cheer her up and stuff like that. So, but it's it's right now my dad is like kind of, and my 2 nieces are at the house, so they're not allowed to even go out. So I already had like a talk with them saying what the risks are. Don't go out. Don't even, I know it's going to be frustrating and you want to go out with your friends and stuff, or meet up to go, get a coffee or go to Wawa or something. But, for them, I tell them that you can't do that. You just can't do that with where they are and how high risk they are. It's not worth it.
I told my mom to stay home too.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. Everybody's like, okay, thankfully,
There's I don't know if you guys heard the story. I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sorry to damper things, but like the thing is that there's a family in Freehold who visit their grandmother like every week, I guess. So they had like a family dinner, and she had 11 children who are from like 50 years old and up. And I guess all like 7 of them contracted the disease, and so far right now 5 of them died. So including the grandmother. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And they lived in Freehold. So, and they all got it because they all went to dinner, thinking, hey, we're gonna go see grandma today, and they all went over, and they basically every one of them at that dinner contracted the disease, and they all went home, and they eventually tested positive. The symptoms showed up, and 5 of them already died. So,
wow.
Saving Private Freehold. Sorry.
Yeah. It's tough, but it's out there. It's the risk is, and that's why they closed. I think they did a smart move in closing down schools and stuff, because God forbid if kids were getting infected, they might have not, they bring them home, and the parents are, or the grandparents eventually will get, the disease by them spreading it in schools and then coming home and giving it to somebody who's in high risk. And then, it's kind of that's the risk. And I'm happy that they closed down schools and stuff. I give all credits to the parents right now that are working from home and fucking teaching, doing, and with kids at home, and they're fucking have to teach the kids at home and everything like that. It's crazy because my boss is like, has 2 boys, and he has to he has to pull like 2 hours aside just to sit his kids down, go through the class assignments and everything like that they're giving them. So it's difficult for a lot of those parents that are just working from home and doing the kid stuff and keeping the kids active, because how kids get bored, like they can't, but
they had to do it for the homework if they did it, being a good parent. But now, I don't know. Is it more material? I don't know if the kids are getting a little bit more material now, because it's like you're trying to get your entire lesson in, whatever you would have learned for that day.
My boss is like, they do some like videos, like they do they send out like a kind of lesson plan on a video, and they have to sit the kid in front of the video. They go through, it's like almost like a PowerPoint presentation type thing that they're doing. And then they got some homework assignments off those videos and stuff like that. And then, but so it's literally the parents are teaching the kids and being the teachers for this temporary period. But with that and work and just everything going on, I can imagine it just being very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, definitely harder. Like the parents that are busy, it's a stress on them. For a student, students, kids especially, what I'm saying, attention span, you're home, you probably want to play a video game, be on the phone or whatever. And even just me, like being in school, like now that it's online, a couple of my professors are computer savvy, so we're actually, sort of like what we're doing now. They got a Google Hangout. It's called Google Meet. All the students in there, the other professors using like a different type of platform for all the students to get in. But it's basically what we're doing now, just everybody jumping in, and you get your lesson that way. So it's an adjustment, for everybody. But we all got to do it for this time, So.
I'm good overall, doing my part, social distancing, and the funny thing is when you walk into Walmarts, they have, like, if you notice, I don't know if you guys recently walked into any type of Walmart or Target, but they have like these the tape on the floor, like when by the cashiers, so you're supposed to stand on the tape, so you're like 6 feet apart from everybody, so lines are not as close as, like, people are not as close as to each other, and lines are supposedly not supposed to be as close to each other in lines. So when you look at the floor, they have like these tape markers, so it basically indicates where you need to be in line, so you're away from people, creating that social distancing. But it's interesting. It's interesting, and how, like, little things that they're doing.
The buses here in the city started being like basically free. Like the fare is still in effect, but they're not letting you come in through the front, and it's actually like the first like few rows are cordoned off, like on all the MTA buses. So basically, you just got to get on through the back. It's free, and and so very little people are riding anyway that you could keep your distance.
To keep your separation.
Yeah. But that's basically like what they're doing as far as like the public transportation now. I don't know how it is like with the trains. I think since the trains has turnstiles, like you probably still got to swipe your way in. But for anybody that rides a bus, you're getting a free ride. So yeah.
But,
all right, man.
Thank you.
Brink, how are you, man?
I'm fine. It's I have 7 more weeks of sitting in this chair every day.
Aww.
Another work from home, right? But you've done that
Delaware.
before, like
Well, when I broke my foot a few years ago, I did, but I sat on the couch, and I didn't have a lot of work to do. But no, I feel one thing about this damn quarantine is I feel a lot of people are having a lot more fun with it than I am. I'm fucking sitting here. My job's killing me. It's fucking sick. But it's like, I'm in Delaware, and Delaware's like, May 15th is when you can go back to reality.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really? That's when your company say May 15th?
No, that's when Delaware says.
Oh, Delaware. Oh, that's when Delaware says. I gotcha.
Yeah. And my company, so I took advantage of my last chance at freedom last week, and I went to the office, and I shared a building with 10 whole other people, which is great. So it's like, this week was my turn to be at home while other people went in. I'm sure no one else went in. And then we got an email saying, hey, don't come back. So only people who need to be in that building should be there. So that's that.
But Brian,
And,
where would you get your oatmeal from?
Yeah, well, like I said, I haven't touched oatmeal since that happened. So I will get some grits occasionally. But Gary, I've been eating an orange for lunch
Oh, that's not enough.
the last 2 days because, and today I missed my lunch. What I had for lunch
Orange?
today,
Brian,
I had a spoonful of peanut butter.
you're not on a pirate ship at risk of scurvy. You eat like real food.
You know what? They actually switched it up at my job too, like in the CAF, like employees only, where before it used to be like everybody. So you have to have your ID to be let in. And then like before it was sort of like whatever they were serving for the day, it was buffet style. So, you know, you grab whatever you want. They got the tonsils there. So they cut all that. They lowered like the windows. They have a server now. They used to have like food that was just like, you know, burgers or fries, just pick the shit up, nuggets, whatever, pick it up yourself. That's done. The pizza they used to have there, pick it up yourself. Like that's done.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, we've been bringing our food. So it's like whatever, like, but I'll still make the pass just to sort of like see what's in there. And it's like, wow, this is different. Yeah. So I think, and they used to have like oatmeal in the morning. That's done. You know,
because anything you serve yourself is out.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah. So anyway, there's that, and then you know, I paid my bills on Friday, and when I do that, I do go out and I see how things are going with the retirement fund. And if you guys have not checked yours, do not.
Why would I look?
Do not check it, because immediately after I did that, I tallied up all my pending pre-orders and things that are coming in that I have not paid for yet. And I'm like, all right, because I'm starting to think I don't need any of this stuff. Nope. So, yeah, I haven't canceled anything yet, but I'm just gonna be like, you know, it's time to be responsible. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I feel like if I hadn't bought all these toys in the last 5 years, I would be able to take advantage of all these super awesome deals you're going to be able to get on brand new automobiles, right, Gary?
It'll be interesting. We will see what happens. You know what I mean? To spark the to spark things. Yeah.
I always liked the 0 APR financing deal. That's a nice deal.
Well, I don't want to derail the conversation with boring statistics, but the world changed after 2001, after September 11th, and it was fascinating because that had never happened before. And even though the reality was very, very few people could actually qualify for that, but those that could get out of a car that they just bought 6 months ago and get another brand new car for less money. But what it did do is it naturally sparked the difference between that and like 08, 09 with that ridiculous cash for clunkers nonsense.
Yeah.
The first issue was just the free market calibrating itself. The cash for clunkers was nonsense, and all that did was bring people out into the market sooner in a shortened window versus just letting the market handle itself. But it sparked commerce. So we'll see what happens. Because everyone keeps saying when it gets back to normal, I don't know if people know what normal means anymore. You know, I just think it means when things are maybe a little less emotional and a little bit safer. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think there's some stuff that's just going to be changed continuously going forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I couldn't help but as I was searching for our show on our feed tonight, I just happened to stumble across, it seems that there has been a live stream from the International Space Station on YouTube that has started August 31st, 2019. It's still going. And I'm just saying, dude, could you imagine being on that space station right now and be like, oh, those poor fuckers.
Not really. They've been
talk about quarantine. Talk about quarantine. It's not like you can step outside and take a stroll out there.
Little spacewalk.
They're probably like, quarantine. You know nothing about quarantine. I've been in the space station for 4 years and counting.
been fucking eating my dinner out of a toothpaste. Oh, fuck you, motherfucker.
Oh my god, yeah. The first thing I'd probably eat is a nice fucking steak coming off that thing.
Yeah, like dust steaks. You see those fucking
The
T-bones?
man, yeah.
Where's everybody seeing this stuff at? He's mentioned it. I didn't I've not seen it. I didn't see it in the Realm group, so I guess that's why I didn't see it.
Imagine jerking off in space. You won't have any cleanup. Just
Ooh. Just watch out.
Until it hits you in
Watch-
the face.
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
Watch
just
out.
Watch out for that blob flying through.
Forget about it like a day later. you just drift right into it. Oh fuck.
Larry.
Ew, Larry.
Well, you know,
You've been eating
got
pineapples again.
Oh, look, there goes Keith being the gentleman. That's it, Brian. For you right there.
I think I got booted from that one.
Nobody
gotta-
wanted to eat
you
boiled
gotta
hot
post-
dogs
How do you
every
get
day,
booted
Brian.
from
You gotta post your meals. You gotta post your meals.
Isn't that
I'm
what
still in.
Instagram's
Or
Sorry,
post
gotten
what you
booted.
cook. If you don't cook,
Brian
You share-
shows
you
his
share-
orange for lunch.
You share
And
shit in there?
Contact me for more recipes.
Dom, what do you share in there?
Nothing.
Me neither. I'm still in it.
I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking any extravagant. I might just do corned beef tomorrow night. So I picked up some corned beef this past
Corned beef, wasn't that-
outing.
you were supposed
Wasn't that
to
so?
do that last week.
Last week, yeah.
I know, kind of late. You know, everything got delayed, so I'm kind of working on the same schedule.
Well, don't go out to the bars.
No.
All right. All right.
I think for Delaware, one of the main reasons why they extended it out pretty far. Our governor was friggin' pissed when he found like everybody at the beach on was it Friday? He's like, "What the fuck?" I told him to fucking stay home. Why are they there,
Everybody's treating it like a fucking vacation.
dude?
Don't be an idiot.
I'm in this next door app and
the
there's
fucking
people
tell you?
complaining. There's people at the park playing basketball and they're there every day. And then someone posted today. It's like, yeah, the Department of Public Works, whatever, is going out to all the parks and taking down the rims off the basketball
wow.
hoops.
Damn,
Wow.
that's crazy.
I was like, Jesus.
Wow. No, yeah, there was the same thing happened here, Brian. Like in Hoboken, the mayor, like before, I think it was like not this past weekend, the weekend before, that Thursday, he made not a mandatory, but like a voluntary, like, you know, stay at home after 8:00, and the whole fucking Hoboken Friday night, Saturday night was like Mardi Gras. Like they fucking everybody came out, and he got pissed. And that Monday, he came on and said, "No, it's not voluntary anymore. It's mandatory." And he closed all the bars. Like bars couldn't stay open until after 8:00. So it's like he just closed everything down. So people took advantage, and the young kids didn't give two shits, and he just said,
Yeah.
"Fuck that."
All the kids are like,
Kids being
fucking
out of
boomer.
Being out
You're all
of
gonna
fucking
die.
school.
because of us.
Is Hoboken a real place, or is that just one of those pretend places you hear about?
It's actually a real
Birthplace of
place.
Frank Sinatra.
I thought it was a hobo named Ken.
Hoboken.
I would just see the sign, passing by on the highway.
I mean, I guess I never thought about, Yonkers,
that-
New York, or Parsippany until I started going there for toy shows. So
There's actually a place in New Jersey called Hohokus. So if you want to go to Hohokus, you can go to Hohokus.
Oh,
There's a place in PA called Blue Balls. There's another place in PA called Intercourse.
Yeah.
nice.
Speaking of
My
which,
favorite
JD, has
thing.
anyone told the Amish what's happening yet?
I have no idea. Those people are off the grid. So,
They're all out riding their carts in the middle of the highways and shit. Like, where the fuck is everybody?
yeah, probably. Like, this is great. These people need to get sick more often. This is spectacular.
I like the empty streets personally.
Yeah.
Like, kind of do, because I think fucking. Besides, you guys, just generally don't like being around people, so it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. All right.
They're saying Hoboken's Yuppieville in the chat. I tell you, man,
Yeah.
I used to hang out there when I was in high school, and I mean, it wasn't so yuppie as it was more hippie in some cases. But nah, man, it still had some grit back then.
That's Brooklyn now. Brooklyn now.
Still had some grit, but yeah, I guess maybe it's all built up over there now.
Yep. Hey, shout out to Progress, I guess.
I just gave Progress a shout out.
And John Addict, how you tonight, Pop?
I'm all right.
Dave.
Can't complain.
How are you, Dave?
I'm all right. Working from home, the wife is like sitting across from me, which is cool because
Oh, he's on his best behavior tonight. He ain't gonna be extra tonight.
look, it's one thing.
Got a
like,
chaperone.
me and the wife, we met each other at work, right? So we used to work together for I don't know 12 years, and at some point or another, we used to work like across from one another, which was cool. So it's just it's been 3 years removed since that happened. So now working across from her and still hearing like all the gripes that she's having with the company that I used to work for, that things have never changed. It's just like fuck. It's like I
Same
never
shit,
left.
Yeah.
I'm just like at one point I'm just like, can you do me a favor? Can you stop thinking out loud and shut the fuck up? Like, I'm sorry, but I'm working
Wait.
here. Like, have you heard one fucking thing from me aside from a sneeze here and there, or maybe a fart if I decide to fart? Like,
So
But-
Dave, you don't work in your toy room.
No, only
that's
because
smart.
so it's funny. My company gave me a laptop that I'm not going to stream from, obviously, but the laptop I have I gave to Lauren so she could do it.
Oh, okay.
So she's working from my laptop all day, and I didn't want to bring that one basically upstairs with the I have an extra monitor attached to it and stuff. Plus, like Jose was saying earlier, or whoever was saying it about having kids, and it's a little difficult right now.
Yeah,
Like
I can
like
imagine.
keeping Chloe entertained. You know what I mean? Like every 2 minutes, she's either asking for her mother or myself.
How old
So-
is she now?
She's 3.
Can't you just
so-
lock her in a room? Put some peanut butter in there?
No, Listen, the iPad could only work for so long.
Yeah.
It's funny though, like so we'll feed her breakfast and she's sitting at the same dining room table. So I'm listening to some fucking baby show, some kid show. Then I'm listening to my wife on her conference calls, and I'm here trying to clear like a fucking $3 million shipment, and I'm trying not to fuck it up because it's kind of hard. I usually work on 3 screens, so now I'm working on like it feels like it's 2, but it's really 1.
Yeah.
The laptop and the monitor. Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, like this is taking me so much longer than it should. And then like at one point or another, I fucked something up, like not to the point where I couldn't fix it, but I'm like, fuck, I gotta go back. And I'm like, stupid baby songs staying in my fucking head. This one's cursing up a storm, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, the one thing that I is good though about my specifically working from home is that I can finish my job by like 2:00 in the afternoon. And from then on, like, hopefully nobody from my company is watching, but if you are, sorry, I can do my job in so many hours and you can't. But I take a nap from 2 to 4:30, and then I wake up in order just to check anything before 5, and then I basically log off. But like me and Chloe go in for our nap now at 2:00, and I set my alarm, and like we wake up at the same time, like 4:30 every day. And like Lauren's like hating, like you can see her fucking hating. Like she's like, I fucking hate you. I can't believe you don't, I'm like, oh, I got work to do, but I'll just do it tomorrow morning. Like, like she needs to be constantly there because people are asking. They need her advice or her, okay on certain things. Like my job doesn't need that. Like, I'm ahead of the game, kind of. Like I went in on when did I go in? I went on a Friday morning because nobody was in the office, and I figured, fuck it, go in for half an hour, bang some stuff out, print some stuff that I need. I wound up staying for 2.5, and I did all my work for the day. So the rest of the day I did nothing again. I just went home and I got stoned and I fucking, like stared at, my phone the rest of the time.
Yeah, but my job's been real chill too because we canceled all the elective procedures up until May 1st. So basically, 6 weeks, nothing really much going on except for like urgent or emergent, cases that pop up. So they're gonna actually probably start converting like our recovery room and some of the other like space that we got and start to repurpose it. But so I'm chilling, man. I'm in my office. I'm basically like I'm assuming the clinics and like private offices closed because I'm not really getting emails as far as like reservations and initially I was busy basically like canceling everything and some of the offices have like rescheduled their cases, but that's what I'm basically there like to book anything like urgent, which is if it comes in, and to reschedule cases, I guess, as they're getting in touch with like the patients and trying to get like a later date. But it's been like where I normally probably schedule 50 and up or more, what I'm saying, it's like 4 5 like the most of the day. So I'm literally like, so I'm just chilling in my office. I'm able to catch up with like schoolwork and a couple other things. So I mean, it's nice, but it's, you're worried sometimes because you have to go in and then you're in a place where it's like, we have patients, it's like that. We actually lost a coworker that contracted it. So, for anybody out there, not to scare anybody, but it's real. So, just listen.
Jose, how old was that coworker?
He's probably like in his mid to upper 40s, early
Young.
50s. Yeah. Relatively young.
And did he have complications or?
I mean, I don't know his medical history, but he seemed fine. You know what I'm saying? He was walking around, roaming the halls just as, a couple of weeks ago, so, so it's a real thing. If anybody's thinking that it's overblown or whatever, it's not, you know what I'm saying? So just follow your precautions and stuff like that and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty glad because my job was fucking super busy. And at least I know for at least the next 6 weeks, it's going to be relatively chill. You know what I'm saying? Doing the OR stuff is a little bit better, like my normal 9 to 5, because I'm in my office. I'm basically just keeping my door closed and hey, I'm practicing social distancing, leave me the fuck alone. But I do overtime in the emergency room, and that's where, like that risk is there because that's,
That's
it's the epicenter, and I'll be there again on Saturday. So that showed you guys the picture, right? You saw the picture. I was all, gowned up, masked up. So
hazmat suited up.
Yeah, so I have to be doing that again on Saturdays.
You don't have to do that when you're working in your office, right?
No. I mean, people are like walking around like wearing masks and stuff, but my surgical unit's a closed off unit. You know what I'm saying? So it's constantly being cleaned. You know what I'm saying? Like my office, I wipe it down. You know what I'm saying? I make sure, I disinfect every day. So, so I feel like in my office, I'm fine. So, yeah, man. Yeah. So, but work's been chill, you know what I'm saying? And I just got to adjust to this online school thing, which actually, initially I was like, fuck, I don't like that. I didn't sign up for online classes for a reason. I need to go in and learn in person and get a lecture, but that's sort of what it was. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect, but the couple of my professors from yesterday, the 2 classes I had, we did it online. They gave a lecture like they would have done in the classroom. So it sort of had the same effect, but I felt like it was even better because I'm here and I was having a drink, during the class, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, maybe this won't be so bad after all. Like I'm home, the class is over, I just click off and I'm home. I don't have to fucking travel, So my eyes were kind of opened a little bit yesterday. So, we'll see how that goes. I know a lot of schools have closed down. So, yeah, so shout out to the people that are homeschooling. I know it's not easy, and hopefully like the kids and anybody that's going through that, like, goes, gets through it because, it's an adjustment and it's not going to be easy for everybody. So, all right. Oh, damn, dude, you took off your mask. He was wearing... you had your.
I can put it back on if you don't want to see my face.
Is that no?
Thanks, man.
I don't mind. I don't mind seeing your face, but I was just gonna say it was a metaphor for basically what one of the things we were going to be discussing tonight. Is that an official Casey Jones mask?
It is.
Yep,
sure is.
It does. It does. So just like we did with that hit movie Alien Resurrection, that we discussed a few weeks ago. Gary sort of gave us some homework and I think some of the guys watched the movie.
Some of us didn't do our homework.
Who didn't do their homework?
Most of us, and we kind of came back. I mean, that's the
Why
thing
the
about
fuck-
getting into the pre-chat on time too, because we kind of changed up the topic a bit, but we can still talk about it. 'Cause I kind of remember the movie, but
We can,
Do
we can
you
jump
now?
in and talk about whatever else we want to talk about.
yeah.
Who did their homework? Raise your hand.
Really?
Is that-
Hey, I'm the only one that fucking did it.
I started watching the wrong movie, and then I ran out of time. I was like, I can't watch another one.
Oh yeah, Brink was like, "Oh my god, this Michael Bay one." Oh, like it was torture. It was torture. Were you watching the first one?
The first Michael
Brink?
Bay one.
First
yeah.
Michael Bay.
Oh, God.
I think I don't know if I've ever seen that like straight through, but is it that terrible? Is it that
I
terrible?
was like, I kind of dig it. Oh no.
That's pretty bad.
Did you guys ever see the second one? Oh,
Oh,
my God.
God.
That thing's horrible.
Was it worse? Worse
It's
than this?
really bad.
Bebop
It's like
and
it's
Rocksteady.
Age of Extinction bad. Not Age of Extinction. What's the other one? The Last
Last
Crime.
night.
Last-
Yeah,
The last night.
night.
Yeah,
Last
the
night. It's
night.
Last Night bad. Yeah.
It's not even. You can't even put it in that it's so bad it's good category.
Oh God, no, it's bad.
Can't-
That dude who played Casey Jones. Get the fuck out of here. You
Oh,
suck.
Stephen
the
Amell, right?
Green
Arrow
Arrow
guy.
guy.
Green Arrow guy.
Yeah. Stephen Amell. He didn't have the long hair or nothing, right?
No, sure.
No, he's too
Yeah.
fucking pretty.
Fucking
He is. He's too
It's
pretty.
true. It's true. It's true.
You don't want to fight him. You want to fuck his mouth.
It's like an Abercrombie and Finch.
You know.
He said the Metro, the clean cut. Casey
Yeah.
Jones. I'd never seen the second one. I could say for a fact, and I think the
It's like-
first part of that the Bay ones, I probably I remember maybe just catching it at certain parts, but I've never seen it like straight through. And I was like, whatever. But if you guys that watched the 1990s version, JD, I know you said that gets sort of like regular rotation in your house.
Yeah, man.
Gary, you watched it. I mean, I've seen that a ton of times, but just like not recently. So what do you guys? I mean, what do you think? Do you think it still holds up? I mean, to me, in
Fuck
my
yeah.
in my mind's eye, like I feel like the costumes of the turtles like still hold up.
I think they
bar
do.
none, to this day.
Maybe not Splinter, but the Turtles for sure.
Yeah. The whole look of the movie, like you appreciate the darkness of the movie after after so many years pass. It's just it gives you that feel of New York, and you definitely appreciate it a little bit more because it gives you that whole New York, fucking sewers, what sewers are supposed to look like. It kind of gives you that feel.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because that movie, I
April
remember.
O'Neil gives me the feels.
She's cute. I like all the freckles.
Yeah, I liked her better than the one they switched her up with in the second one. I was like, damn, why did they switch her up? But it did have like sort of like that real like that real feel. It didn't feel like anything that was filmed was like on a set. It did feel like they were on location, like filming in the city. So that aspect came across as like real authentic. And it did, have like its darkness to it. Like, and I sort of kind of remember it being a little bit more dark, but then when I went back and watched it, I'm like, hey, it's got a lot of its silly shit in there, like too.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but like when Leonardo gets hurt and like
yeah,
like that shit was real when he falls through the glass. Is
Oh,
it him that
Raphael.
falls
That
through?
was
Or Raphael,
Raphael,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Raphael gets hurt. That's right. And Leo's worried
Fucked.
about him, and he's like watching him, sitting there, fucking taking care of him. That's some real shit right there.
One thing I love about that movie is when they're in April's apartment and the Foot Clan attacks,
Yeah.
and they're like chopping the floor with the axes.
Yep.
And they have these fucking jokes, man. They're like, good thing these guys aren't lumberjacks. The only thing saving the forest would be the trees.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh man, it's
Hey,
Guys, I hate to say something, but I don't think this is
yeah.
structurally can handle your friends jumping in about right now.
I like
Yeah.
I like when Raph was on the roof and he's like beating the shit out of all the foot soldiers and waves, and he's like, how do you guys think you're gonna beat me? And then he sees like all of them coming in. He's like, good answer.
Good day.
See, it was funny because I didn't realize it at the time. I found out like after, but the movie was based off some of the original
Comic books.
Mirage comic
Yeah,
books.
the
and
comic
stuff.
books, yeah.
And Dave, like, so you said Leonardo getting fucked up, like it was Raphael in the movies, but in the comics it was Leonardo
Yeah.
that got fucked up by the Foot Clan, you know.
Yeah.
So they did some little switch ups there, but it was nice, and that's the thing is that you know, for anybody that's watching and doesn't know, that might be a little bit younger, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, back then was a comic book property. It was very indie, very low produced comic book that wound up just blowing up. But the comics were way more serious than what you saw in the cartoons and what we got out of this movie. You had some serious parts, which you saw, but it also had a lot of the comedy and the lighthearted stuff that you saw from the cartoons that came out of like that turtle like explosion. So it was interesting. So the movie sort of played both sides. The Mirage comics were very serious and on point, even though the subject matter was, you know, a rat training these turtles and whatnot. But you know, but they had the serious side of the comics, but also sort of like the silliness that was inherent, like with the cartoons.
You know, it's funny. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I was just gonna touch on what Jose's saying. Like, even today, like the comics that are out, I think IDW does them now, right? They're a little darker than what some people might be used to with the Turtles. You know what I mean? Like the storylines, and they've revamped them a few times. Like I think the most recent one I read, I liked a lot. It kind of gave you the idea that the Turtles, like the reason they were so good at fighting and the connection with the Shredder and all that was because they were like reincarnated from like ancient Japan, like children, and they were actually sons of Splinter at one point. So if they redid, like if they wanted to redo the movies and keep them like a little more adultish, if they went that route, I think it'd be pretty dope.
Reincarnated.
Yeah, like
J.J. Abrams write this thing?
Huh?
It sounds very Star Wars-y to me. No,
Yeah, but
Talking this series,
it might be. I read them online, JD. I don't remember what like the cover stories are.
Yeah.
Um,
See, and look at what Josh put, and then this is actually like true because I remember in those you know, basically those turtle comics was playing like homage to like Daredevil. Like Daredevil got the hand, you know, it's the foot in TMNT, you know. So and in the origin story when Splinter's telling the story and you see the truck, the TGRI truck, where the canister falls out, when it makes the swerve, when it turns and the canister falls out, you see it smack a kid in the head and then roll down into the sewer. And so they connected it like they was trying to say like that, you know, the ooze that made the turtles was the same thing that blinded like Daredevil, which was kind of like a cool little connection there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, of course, my first exposure to the Turtles was the cartoon, and then I happened to be in a comic book shop and I found the trade paperbacks of the Mirage stuff, and I was like, "Huh, interesting. Let me look this up." And then I remember reading that, and I was like, "Whoa, this is not the cartoon, right? There's blood. They fucking fuck Shredder up, man." And then, of course, when this movie came out, I was like, "Oh wow, it's a nice little balance of both." I liked it.
Wasn't one of the Turtles hitting April O'Neil up at one point too? Like in
Michelangelo, yeah. Is it Michelangelo or I can't remember.
I'm thinking it was Leonardo, but I could be wrong.
yeah,
It switches, you know. Every show it switches. Even like in this last Cartoon Network series, it was Donatello that had a crush on April O'Neil.
Yeah.
On the Nick one,
The Nickelodeon one, yeah.
So,
yeah, the one before the current one I thought was pretty cool. Like I dug the animation style and stuff like that. I thought it was a nice like little update. This new one that they got now, like that looks like Ren and Stimpy, is like
What about that first NES game?
oh,
that was so hard.
yo, I loved it, but it was hard.
It was hard as hell,
hard
right?
as fuck.
Dude, the fucking swimming boards. I hated the swimming boards. Like when you had to swim through the fucking like the electric eels and the shocks and stuff like that. That was just horrible.
I remember
TNT.
Yeah, I remember getting to the end, but I never beat it. I never beat it, but I remember fighting Shredder at the end.
I had a Game Boy. It was called Turtles: Fall of the Foot Clan. I think I beat it. I can't remember.
I had that too, Brian. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the original Game Boy. Yep.
So, well, I'm just gonna touch base on that fiction again too. The fiction that's still out because it might like rejuvenate your Ninja Turtle love again. Like at least reading it. So what's cool about it too, like the story when they brought Raphael into the picture, he was lost. So like when the mutagen like hit up the turtles and fucked the Splinter and shit, like Splinter found the first 3 turtles, but he didn't find Raphael. Raphael like was kind of like rogue, like he went, like he was lost. But somehow or another, he found Casey Jones. So that's how that relationship started. So they were both like fighting crime, just like they did in the movie, kind of on their own. But so was the turtles on their own end until they finally like kind of connected and be like, oh wait, you're a turtle too. And that's how it kind of made sense of like how he knew how to fight as opposed to the other ones being taught by Splinter. He knew through that reincarnation. It came naturally to him, like the fighting. Like they had to learn how to fight, but they learned at a faster pace, if that makes any sense.
So what you're talking about is the new continuity that the IDW book is doing? Because
Yeah.
I've downloaded like some of those books, but I haven't read the majority of them.
They did it pretty good. So they're not taking away really from the original, but they're kind of like expanding it a little more with this story. So like, you know how like April O'Neil was in the picture, so the turtles were all in once part of in the labs. What's the name of the company? TCRI.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the labs, and April sees these turtles in there, and she names them. So she's the one that names them.
That's what they did in the Michael Bay movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're taking little parts of everything. They're taking the original Mirage comics, the comics that have been being done since the 80s till now, and the movies. They kind of like orgied them up into this story in a sense. It's kind of cool because you kind of see like where other mutants are coming from too. Like, you know, there's other mutants that you're not used to in this. You see like you see also like how Casey Jones came up. Like he came from like a battered house. Like his dad like abused him and shit.
Yes.
You know, and his dad is actually one of the bad guys that you get used to watching if you watched any of the early 2000 Ninja Turtle stuff.
I heard that stuff was good.
It is.
I have it on DVD, but a lot of it I haven't watched. Like, but I heard that series was good. That Turtles reboot they did in the early 2000s.
And some of the characters that they put in there are part in this. So like that's what I'm saying. Like they kind of brought it all together. You know, Baxter Stockman's in it. Everybody's in it. It's just
I think
they're retelling the story.
I had a GameCube game, a Turtles GameCube game from the early 2000s, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it was a Wii. No, I think it was GameCube. I don't remember. But it was fun. It was based off of that cartoon, though. I remember that. Stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So, but the first film, you know, like I mean, it was good. It had its moments. Like, I thought the score was like really good, very memorable. You know, the way they did Shredder and the Foot Clan, you know, the kids sort of, you know, doing the stealing and robbing. The backdrop of the story was that, you know, crime wave through New York. And you basically see that the Foot Clan's recruiting, you know, teenagers and stuff like that to, you know, steal and whatnot. Yeah, but you know, Shredder, I mean, initially it was like, you didn't really see him do much, but then at the end, when you actually see him confront the turtles, he whipped their asses, which I kind of like dug, you know, because it made him seem like he was real badass. That dude Tatsu came across as being like an intimidating sort of like, you know, second in command.
The actor who played like a Hammer in the Iron Man 2, isn't he one of like the little punk kids? I'm pretty sure in that scene.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
He's like in the background. It's a minor character.
Rock something.
Yeah,
Rock?
yeah. I think that's him.
I like that guy. He's a good
Yeah.
actor.
Oh, wait. Are we talking Sam Rockwell?
Yes, I think
Yeah, he was
he was one of the
son
right? Yeah.
was his title in the
Yep.
What was it,
He's-
JD?
lead thug.
Lead
Thug?
thug.
That was his credit.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
Yep.
like he yeah.
Want cigarettes? Menthol or what is
Yeah.
it?
He wants some
that
cigarettes?
that guy.
Yeah. I
What
think
kind of
that-
cigarettes you want? Regular or menthol?
So I know we're talking about the first movie, but the second movie when they introduced Ernie Reyes Jr. His character into it.
Yeah.
Do you know he
Pizza
also
Boy.
played one of the turtles? He was
Yeah.
he was actually one of the turtles too, like fighting behind in the costume.
Oh, for real? I know. I think in the first one, like a bit of trivia was that the dude that delivered the pizza also was the guy that was in the suit for Raphael.
Was it
either,
really?
Yeah, either the
Oh,
guy
you
in the
know what?
suit
It
or he
might
did the
be.
voice or something like that. Either or.
Huh.
I gotta get a new route.
Yeah, but
What's the deal? This is only a 10.
I love it when
Yeah.
too because like
13.
Michelangelo, Michelangelo, like what it was like Michelangelo shows up, and then like Donatello's not even listening to him; he's just waiting for the fucking time that pass by.
That was
Well,
the
it's
other
funny,
way
he's
around.
Oh, so it's the other way around. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Mikey was the one that
Like
was,
he was. Yeah.
he was the one that he didn't give a shit. He was just like watching the time.
Yeah.
Donnie's trying to have like a serious conversation with him.
Well, it's funny. It's like, yeah, Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds. He's like, and he's like, he was trying to chew on like a toothpick or something,
The
but he kept
toothpick, yeah,
poking himself in the face because he couldn't fit it in his because he's got the fucking costume on. He couldn't get it in his mouth. I was like, damn, I'm surprised they didn't do a second
All right.
take of that.
So let me see if it'll come up. If you want to see something disturbing, since you guys like to mess with me with the Pennywise, have you seen what any of those costumes have deteriorated to look like?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they look really, really bad.
yeah. I forget how I saw it before. So
What's turtle
terrible.
costumes?
Yeah, the original turtle costumes, like what they look like now,
No.
because of what they're made out of, and
Yeah.
what happens to that after it breaks down.
just do I can't screen share, but if you do a Google image, it's disturbingly crazy.
Google
That's why
image of what?
Just TMNT deteriorated costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was their whole thing about like how they couldn't recreate the costumes because the costumes
Mhm.
deteriorated so much over time. Like so every movie the next movie from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3,
Right.
they couldn't remake those costumes because of how how bad they deteriorated over several months.
Yeah.
So, and they sweat like I remember reading
Yeah, they're
when the movie
sweating in it.
when the movie came out, they did a whole like center story on them and how much they sweated in the costumes, and there's no air, there's no
There you
air
go.
in those costumes and stuff like that.
Oh man.
They just got nasty.
Yeah, that sucks, but it sucks because I'm sure that stuff should all be locked away like in a studio vault, but I'm sure there's people that would love to like own it or whatever. So if that's what happens, that sucks. But they looked really good for their time. I mean, when did that movie come out? Like 89, 90?
90.
1990, right?
Yeah.
So
1990.
that was like an era like we had the 89 Batman film, and then we got that Turtles movie. Like the pop culture like phenomenon like that Turtles was like at that time. Like I don't think like anybody unless you lived through it and were part of it, and we're a fan of it, like it was big, man. Like they had like a touring show like at Radio City like Music Hall. Like you go and it was like a whole like live action show. Like I remember like going to that. I think Power Rangers had the same thing like a few years later because that was like just almost like just as big basically. But this thing was huge. So it was just nice because you watch the cartoon and then just to be able to watch something like in live action and for it to like look so good. It was just like a hit, man. Fucking hit. Usually you don't know how things like that are gonna turn out once they change the medium. But I mean, after this movie, the success of this movie, like you just saw, like they basically like rushed out that second one. They like I said, they had the live tour like going on, music videos and all that shit, like cards, the action figures. Like it was crazy, like how big this was. Like,
I remember, man, I had the soundtrack on cassette.
Yep.
I remember this kid Alex at the YMCA stole it from me.
Oh,
Ooh.
and then he like denied that he stole it, and I knew that he took it, and then he ended up giving it back, and I knew,
He was Danny.
yeah.
I
I remember I caught up with him like years later. I was getting off a bus in Bayonne, and I saw him. I was like, "Hey, Alex!" And he's just like, "Oh!" and started running away.
Where's my turtle cassette?
That's a weird dude. I wonder what he's up to.
Stealing stuff. Working for the
Alex,
foot.
Alex is in jail. Yeah.
He got busted trying to steal some cigarettes.
Danny, yeah, I remember with the shit. I
So-
think the scene when the dad was meeting with April and he's giving the kid shit.
$20.
Yeah. He's giving him shit, about what he was doing.
So I want to ask you guys, like, Danny wears a specific. Well, he wears like 3 different shirts in that movie, but they're all of the same person. Do you guys know who that person is?
Huh.
Where they came from?
It's from a band, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it?
I don't even remember.
I know on the back of his shirt it says Sid at one point.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm not familiar with the band though.
No? Okay. It's Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols.
Ah, yes.
Mhm.
Now I think I remember that.
He wears a Sid and Nancy shirt at one time, I think.
Hmm.
Which is kind of odd because this is a kids movie and they're kind of advertising a movie about heroin addicts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's got
Who do you
layers.
think? Who do you think? Yeah, who do you think was the one like sneaking that like on? Do you think like that's the producer, the director? Like, hey, like where
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody
the talent?
or they're just like,
So,
well, these people were heroin addicts, and we'll just like put this kind of stuff in the. We'll make him seem like he's punk rock.
What movie did Raphael go see in the theater?
Critters.
Critters.
Who comes up with this stuff?
That movie was like old by then already. Yeah, I mean it was like several years old before
Yeah.
that.
Critters, yeah. That was funny though. Yeah, like that scene when they meet up with Casey Jones and they're going back and forth. He's wearing this trench coat.
Jose
I lo-
Canseco, man?
Yeah.
Hopefully you didn't pay money for that.
I remember that scene when what was it? Michelangelo was watching TV and they're like the turtle in the hair and it's like fucking turtle kick the rabbit.
He's like, kick the damn rabbit.
Oh man.
Or even was that like the same scene when he was like, oh, he's like, oh, you dirty rat, you killed my brother.
I bet you that's Splinter's favorite. Everybody's just looking at her like, what?
And they
It's
just
a
all start laughing.
joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah.
That movie is classic.
It's supposed to be a
Classic.
joke.
Oh,
I seriously want to finish that alphabet though. Like, how do they only get to H?
Yeah, so that was Casey and who was it? Raph?
No,
Donatello.
Don.
Donatello.
Donatello,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
insulting each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going through the letters of the alphabet.
What are we on? G. Here we go. Gack face.
Yeah.
All right there, hose brain.
Yeah, that was kind of like them showing because throughout the series, like every few series afterwards, like they were like Donatello was like more tech guy. He was like the kind of the nerdy type of turtle, and he was like I think that was the scene that they were kind of giving him like he was more of the mechanic kind of. They really didn't define who Donatello was in that movie. Like they really didn't kind of make him out to be the nerdy science geeky turtle. In that
They
movie,
did that
which I
more.
liked.
They did it more in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He was more of like Michelangelo's like sidekick where he he didn't give a fuck. Like he just wanted to eat and just chill.
But they
kinda
did
thing.
at least give him some smart lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I think that scene with him and Casey working on the car was more of a showing off his his mechanical skills and
Technical
stuff
skill,
like that.
yeah.
But they really didn't define like that's what when I watched that movie, I really preferred that Donatello because I thought I thought he was kind of more of like laid back kind of guy, like just like Michelangelo, but not as flamboyant as Michelangelo. But he was kind of cool. But Leonardo was always my favorite. I thought Leonardo was my favorite.
Yeah, the leader. Yeah. So like what had happened? The kid. So the kid, basically the April's boss, like his son was part of that gang that was like affiliated. I guess like that was part of like the Foot Clan. I guess like they brought them in. They were like gang members, and I guess they would train them, and whoever showed potential, they'd make like actual like Foot members, right?
Recruit up. Yeah.
And then like so he's sort of like there, and he's overhearing. Basically like they're, that the Foot has been in confrontation with like turtles, and when April was with his dad, he remembers seeing like I guess one of the turtles like hiding in the apartment, so he sort of gives them up, and that's how they find them in like in April's apartment, and they basically give the turtles their first like setback in the movie. They beat up fucking Raphael. He had a fight with the other turtles, so he basically stormed off on his own, which left him to get jumped by the Foot Clan. And they basically like had to retreat and stuff. Like that was basically like the first like 20 something like issues, I think, of the Mirage series. Like they had some different stories, in between and whatnot, but like the basic thing was like, they were in almost the same thing like happened in the comics. I think the Foot attacked Leonardo. They burned down like April's house, which I think she ran a business out of it. Like it was like an old like antique boutique.
Second time around.
Like yeah.
Second time around antiques.
Yeah, so I remember they just had like a shot of Shredder like in that comic, like when they were all there and they revealed the Foot Clan, like they had a splash page of Shredder just like in a crazy ass pose. Kevin Eastman. I forgot who did the art. I think it was Eastman, right? Pretty dope artwork.
Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Yeah, so so the turtles got fucked up, so they basically retreated to like April's like farmhouse so they could like recover and regroup. So that was cool. Like you got to see a little bit more like the character moments and like the bonding like between the characters, which I thought was cool. They showed that like off pretty well. And then once they Raphael woke up and me and Leonardo like made up and shit because they had fought. They basically like went back to the city to rescue Splinter and shit. So
I didn't finish it yet, dude. Why are you telling me the whole fucking movie?
if anybody hasn't seen this by now, like
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I remember getting it on VHS. I was like,
Yeah. I remember the
VHS.
this is 30 years ago now, like right at this
Yeah.
point, 30th anniversary, like shit, man.
Makes you feel fucking old as shit.
That is crazy. I was 10 years old.
Well, fuck, we get a bunch of babies compared to.
And don't like that fucking layer, the Foot layer, dude. That was a fucking awesome layer with all the arcades and the fucking skateboard.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude. I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, dude, I wish there was a place like that we can go to. just chill, have fucking candy and vending machines and fucking arcades all over the place. It's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, the kids are just doing whatever they want. Like I think I remember like during scenes like that, and like I think my mom or whatever like looking at me like, "Don't think you could be doing that."
Kids sitting there with a pile of firecrackers and shit.
Yeah. Everything that a kid can get in trouble was at that place.
Well,
that
we had something else to pull up. I don't know if we have time anymore. We're still talking about the Turtle movie.
Mhm.
But
No, we got time.
Brian had the Fansoy stuff we wanted to talk about a little bit.
Yes.
Fans toys.
Yeah.
Fans toys.
All the TFCon news and stuff like that.
Of course we do. We're in quarantine. It's all the time we have. We have plenty of time.
speak for yourself.
I know.
Listen.
Gary's ready for bed.
Didn't you guys talk about this last night?
We didn't.
I just scrolled through it last night.
yeah, he was breezing through.
Why, JD? Are you over Fansoy?
He hates fans toys.
Good. Let's hear
Oh.
it. Let's
I
hear it.
don't hate them.
So what's the problem?
The what's this guy? The Motor Master incident, I think, soured you.
What is
In
the
the
Sound
Hydra.
Blaster?
The Hydra.
JD, you're not in for any of these?
I don't know. Probably not.
Really? Why? Just cause
Yeah,
principle?
I'm just. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't bought Transformers in a while.
Oh, okay.
I don't really care. You know what I mean?
It's a line thing. It's not a brand or a company thing, right?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm just whatever. I've been bored with Transformers for how long now?
Yeah.
He's mythic. He's all into mythics.
Mythics and
How about you
Turtles.
guys? Are you guys in for any of these?
I do like the Soundwave. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I was into that Soundwave like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was. It might be like 8, more like 8.
It's funny how they kept the number though, right? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
like really? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks cool, and I guess it's more in line with what they're doing now with the tune stuff. But yeah, like to me, it's like okay, when the stuff comes out, I'll get a look at it, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to pick it up. Like the excitement for me is not really there
The
anymore.
announcement, right?
Yeah,
Scroll back, Brian. Are they making it where they're just selling one Soundwave and it's going to be just the tune or the toy type of thing, or are they doing it separate toys where there's a tune accurate and a toy accurate?
No, I believe these are pieces that you can swap out.
Swap out. Oh, gotcha.
yeah, that would be pretty shitty if they would have those minor cosmetic changes and they make you buy 2 separate figures. So.
They always give you that option anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always include that sort of stuff in the box.
Yeah.
I did with Tesla.
Yeah,
And
and
they did it with everything. Like
the Cyclonus
all the-
they gave you the IDW parts and stuff like that.
yeah,
So yeah,
fucking Dinobots. They gave you all the extra shit for those.
It looks good. It looks good. Whatever whenever it comes out, let me see it.
are you guys down for like an update though? Because I mean that Masterpiece Soundwave is like damn near like perfect. Like, do you need anything else?
Well,
Fine.
Jose, it's
Fine.
perfect until you look at this.
Yeah.
You'll definitely see some age in it. And if you are looking for some additional articulation, like ab crunch and stuff like that, like there's that. But the one thing that looks dated on that Soundwave for sure is the hips. The way they did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But other than that, it is actually still really, really good. It does what it needs to do.
Yeah. I mean
Um,
that does look good too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with my Soundwave. I'm really kind of curious of what it'll look like all duded up like this in the finished product, because that would be the only thing to kind of really keep me going. But I mean, the shelf is done, man. I don't want to go back.
Yeah,
To
I can
Yeah.
I can see people who are more into the toy or the more adult kind of take on how Masterpiece was before, and if they make this more like of a tune, accurate kind of take, if you're not into that where it's going, then I wouldn't see people picking this up. They'll stick with what the Soundwave that they had before.
And I do like the articulated hands. It really does help in the
Mhm.
posing.
I heard so they are making the cassettes separate
Yeah,
packaging.
separate purchase. Separate purchase.
Mhm.
Of course,
Cassettes not included.
that's how they. That's how they get those
They're
extra
gonna
parts.
Gonna make that money.
Well, that's so different than what Hasbro and Takara did, really, right? The Toys R Us one had all the cassettes, but the Takara one did not.
Yeah.
You had to buy 2 separate 2-packs to get them, so it's no
Yup.
different.
How do you think they're gonna do it? 2-packs or just get all the cassettes in one bundle?
I say do them all in one. Who's gonna? I mean, you want them all anyway, so just fucking buy them all.
So wait, scroll up to the one up before this.
This one?
Yeah, and then one more. So it looks like they're all going to be in the same pack.
Oh, look at you with the
Uh-huh.
V.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh wow! It took somebody's job away. Right? Real quick.
That's that stay at home, man. He's not fresh off his feet.
Nope.
Fuck it, I'm out.
Good eye, JT. Good eye, good eye.
The analyzer's off his game.
Yeah.
This quarantine's got him all kinds of fucked up.
Yep. What about this Perceptor?
The Perceptor.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it looks
fine.
great.
So, who actually really liked Perceptor as a character ever?
I didn't mind him.
Anybody?
Only when I saw him in IDW, we got cool.
I actually used to think he was cool back in the G1 days, like the toy itself that it used to turn
Yeah,
into a little
yeah.
like telescope or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, IDW did make him cool. Like they made him silent and like a badass like sniper and stuff. But I mean, this one like looks good. I think it's an improvement like over the original. And it's funny because like this comes up, they got pics of this, and I was watching that G1 episode where I think it was Braun was shitting on Perceptor.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they didn't think he was a hero. Like
You don't go fight. You stay up in here in the lab and do nothing.
yeah.
I really disliked him in G1 because by the time he came out, he was taking away like the role that Wheeljack always had, and I just always
Yeah,
like Wheeljack better, you know.
What do you mean, like being like the voice of reason?
Well, that and kind of being like the creator, the inventor.
Science.
you know,
Yeah.
I was about to say he's like the Gary of Transformer world.
I like like the Wheeljack and the Ratchet combo. You know, what I mean, even before the Dinobots, it felt like, and he was, I don't know.
Yeah, he also repaired some when they got hurt and shit like that.
Well, in IDW, he's pretty cool. You know, he gets tired of the science and he kind of just turns into a killing machine after a while.
I tell you, man, I'm really not sure. I mean, my 86 movie shelf is very tuned because it's all fans toys, right? Except for MP09, you know? And so this really does kind of fill that out nicely. I don't know.
I think this one is a little bit different than the Soundwave because I think with this one you're getting an upgrade from a figure that they've done before, and the official never made one, so it's like it's nice. It's very hard to get that first one, and I'm sure the price of it is skyrocketed, and at the end of the day, it's a nice retake where whoever wants to get them because they don't have the first one, or whoever just wants to upgrade their figure for the second.
Who wants to pay $300 for the first one? You know?
Exactly,
I mean, not
exactly.
today,
Nobody.
but I mean,
Nobody,
a
nobody.
few months ago.
Exactly.
So let me pose a question, because we're getting a remake of this. Do you think they'll go back and redo
Yep.
their
Yep.
hot rod?
But I
Maybe
feel like
not right away.
Not now.
No, because
Not
they just
now.
released
Now,
that. Yeah,
now think about this though. Nobody has done Rodimus Prime. I mean, you have the whatever the DX9 one,
carry.
which
Yeah.
he's all right. I have him. He's like pretty good figure, but it's
Are you
dated.
saying Rodimus or
And then you got both.
Oh, okay.
Like they'll use their hot rod to make a Rodimus as well.
Rodimus is
they're
bigger,
gonna
though.
make an all new.
We're gonna
one.
make two separate figures. Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
it.
I personally think JD they're gonna either redo everything they did already, and they're also just gonna do everybody. Like one day we're gonna be here, if we're still podcasting, 5 years from now, we're gonna be like, yo, that fans toy Optimus and Megatron are fucking dope. Like, like
Yeah.
tell me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they're still working on the combiners too. Like, they got the aerial bots and the Stunticons, right, that they're putting out. So,
See, like right now, that stuff that they're coming out with, they're not coming out with stuff that we need. Like, they're not filling holes anymore.
Yeah,
They're saying we're just gonna do it better. Or do it, or just do it. Period.
Now
I'm not
it's
saying
like-
that it's better yet, but
now it's like no fucks given, right? Because I think what was it like? They canceled that Soundwave originally because the MP
Official,
did it,
yeah,
but,
the
now
official came out, yeah.
but now they had no problem putting out that hot rod, and now they're putting out this Soundwave. So it looks like that sort of philosophy is out the window, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it well after though.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But
they've
I
think
Go
I've said it multiple times, but I mean, I remember initially when SCU did that like weird interview with them, where they just like emailed them questions back or something like that. They said it's like, look, we love the Masterpiece line and we just want to contribute to it,
Yeah. We want to
And-
fill the holes.
And the fact that they're doing this Toon stuff, it really is a testament to their, initial purpose for making this company and making these toys, because this is where the mothership's going. Tune
Yeah.
accurate, so that's what they're making now.
Yep.
And
they're
it
still
sucks.
put-
It's another company that I love that has forsaken what I want
Mhm.
on my shop. So I'm like, here I am, like, all right, I'll eat this brawn, but this X Transbot, I mean this Beachcomber here, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go hunt down the X Transbots one again, because that just feels more the aesthetic that I wanted.
Listen, Ryan, we're
I
coming back.
have one, Brian. Don't
I have one.
go nowhere quick. Look at
Got
home. Look within us first.
Will do. I hope to see you guys again someday.
All right.
Next NJCC is gonna be done through fucking Hangouts.
Mm.
But this stuff looks great.
I mean, I think it looks good.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it looks
it looks
good.
good. I don't think any of it looks bad. And I think we've talked about it before. Time passes. Things get updated. Technology gets better. They just figure out a better way of doing it. So it's up to the individual collector if they want to upgrade what they got going on or not.
And that's what makes the choice hard, because it's not so much an upgrade in aesthetic for me, but it's like the engineering's better. The way they figured it out is better, but it's just not what I want. It's like it was hard for me to sell that Takara Inferno, because I was like, this is like the perfect masterpiece. It's so perfect.
I always
I
heard
don't want it.
For
It's
real?
so good.
Why? Like the Inferno? Why? What was it about that? Like,
Dude, it was
What's
just
the
way
look?
too toony, man. And the fact that they didn't give that thing taillights in truck mode,
Right,
I was like,
yeah.
fuck you, I'm out.
so which one did you keep? Make Toys put one out.
I went
and-
with MMC.
Backdraft.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that one looked a little bit more, like realistic, like old school
Yeah,
masterpiece. Yeah.
that's a good figure, man.
I have the Make Toys. They didn't hold up so well.
Yeah, I have the Make
They're
Toys
very
grapple.
loose.
I did
They're very
Make Toys
loose.
grapple. Yeah,
Mm.
but
They're
this
still nice. They're
yeah.
just loose.
I think I am in on this Warpath though. He's pretty cool looking.
The Warpath looks great.
Yeah, that looks very. I mean, very close to the cartoon as far as like proportions and the way it looked. I mean, I thought the War Dog looked like pretty badass, but that's not like masterpiece per se.
But you know how Fans Toys is doing like these recolors now, like they did it with their Cyclonus and Galvatron.
Right.
Dude, when this Beachcomber comes out in silver instead of white or gray, and I already bought this one and I didn't want it to begin with, and here I am buying it again. After the same thing with this Brawn, right? They're gonna come out with him again, and he's gonna have silver gauntlets and hands instead of this like off-white stuff. And I'm just gonna be pissed. They're just, you know what? Screw it.
It's still gonna have their finish though.
I know, but
Something
I
you
don't.
gotta
But I
understand.
don't.
Like you gotta
I
remember,
want-
it's still gonna have that.
But I want the silver. That's what I
Oh.
want. Like this Huffer, we haven't seen it in color yet, but are these arms gonna be
Chrome,
like
I bet they're gonna be
off-white?
Chrome.
off-white, or are they gonna be? What are they gonna be? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but ooh, look at that.
Those look pretty.
Dude,
Yes, yeah.
single-
You guys down for that?
Might have to be.
Yeah. And I'm looking at my Make Toys one right now. I'm just like, fuck, man, that was
Yeah,
nice too. It was so nice.
You remember when the Make Toys like really looked good until we saw this?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's where I was going with that.
I mean, it's been a couple of years at least, right?
Right.
The Big Toys has been out, so I mean,
It's
it
been
did
a
its
few
job.
years.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
See,
done its job.
the thing is though, right? Like, should we be worried that these things will never come out? Like right now, if we go sell our Jazz and Mirage and Brawn and and then all of a sudden, like Fans Toys is like, oh, we decided not to make it.
Yeah, but you know what though, Dave? I think you've like, what's the difference, right? And look, I don't really know, but what do you get for the Make Toys Downbeat now, versus when that comes out for Fan Toys? Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to flip it, is it really that different in between? I was like, I don't know. I think what's interesting is I liked how the Transform Element Mirage looked that we saw a couple months ago. I thought it looked pretty cool. But I think what's going to be interesting with these other car bots is it's Mirage and Jazz, which hasn't been done by Takara yet. And Takara's recent car offerings between, Optimus, Hound, and Bumblebee 2.0 are not clear winners in any way, shape, or form, in terms of quality or, build. So I think people may be even more flexible to the headaches of the fans toys engineering. Because looking at that
looks clean.
that Jazz turn into a freaking Porsche,
Yeah.
like I can only imagine how intricate that transformation is going to be to try and get it there.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of feet going on too. I just
Yeah.
noticed that they're chunky.
Yeah.
That's how
Gary,
it was, though, too.
The breakdown, the fans toys breakdown, their Lamborghini. Did
Mhm.
you get that?
I had it. Yep.
Dude, that thing was awesome.
It
I
was
loved
good.
how that
Yeah.
transformed. Yeah.
Yep. No, that was actually really, really good. It's
Hopefully this takes a beat off of that somehow.
yeah, I think the bot has got far more complexity than those Stunticons did. Everyone criticized it for being kind of flat, but look, I mean, I think it looks cool. I'd like a really good Jazz that kind of hit all the boxes where the car mode looked good and the bot mode didn't have any of the issues that
Yeah.
the Make Toys one did.
But it's, dude, man, that's like
Yeah, that looks good.
really nice.
Yeah.
I just got stuck in my head for a minute there. So I'm like, imagine 10 years from now when they've made everything they wanted to make. Would they end with Optimus and Megatron?
Yeah, that would be great.
End with it instead.
Yeah.
I'm
That'd be
really,
crazy.
yeah, man, I'm really digging this. They're using all the right engineering for the joints, it seems too. I mean, obviously, people are making elbows a lot better than they used to. I mean, we could go back up to that Tesla, right? Because the original Tesla had terrible elbows, kind of
yeah.
thing. So
Mm.
they're doing things right. I mean, they're
And then and then there's something about that tune aesthetic too, like because you can see it like in the legs how they have that curve to them. You see,
Yep. Yep.
You know? It's not just straight. So,
Well, this is what we talked about. Like,
mm.
it's going to be upgrades. It's going to be a new version coming out every 5 years, and somebody's going to make it better. And whether you're gonna push that button and buy it and upgrade their figure or not, it's all up to you on whether you're going to do it or not. So, there's going to be collectors out there going to be that no, my Sphinx MMC is fine. I don't need this one. And some people are going to be like, yep, I need this one.
yeah, but it's like this Sphinx, I like that the neck sucks. The way this cannon mounts sucks. And these forearm panels suck.
Stop shaming.
But
Yeah.
the thing is I love this thing. Like I love the
I
fact
love
that
it too.
I like the fact that
Bought
the
like 8
engine
of
are
them.
his kneecaps. I like the fact that the spoiler are his actual feet, and
Right.
the heel is the wheel. I mean, I think that's so cool. But there's things I hate about it, but I don't think I'm ready to change. I think I still like this one.
You got another 2 years before this thing.
Right.
goes.
Yeah,
yeah, you got
If
a
you
long
ain't ready
time.
now, you'll be ready
But
soon.
see, I dig that Transformer Element one.
Yeah, this one's it's got some of the same cues, but
Yep.
just a little bit cleaner. Right?
Exactly right. Yep. I was gonna say it's got a little bit more detail than the Fans Toys rendering that I liked, but it's not quite as sloppy looking in some of
As
those
this-
spots.
Yeah, so it is. This does.
So I
look
dig
nice.
that.
This does look good.
That does, yeah. I like the way that looks.
It's hard to judge though. I mean, with this one being so
Right.
fuzzy,
Yeah.
we
Just
don't
being
know what's going on. But
Mm. The transform element looks like a win. Like for now, Fans Toys doesn't look like that dissimilar from it.
What,
I
what
think-
have they
I-
made that's besides the Optimus that's
they got some legend stuff.
and it's all good? Like good
I don't know.
stuff?
The Optimus is pretty cool. I like that Optimus a lot that they did.
just need a little swivel right here.
Mhm.
But it's interesting because I think we could probably all agree Fans Toys isn't really competing against other companies anymore. I think they're just competing against time and the risk of waning interest for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way
Well,
to
you
put
got-
it.
Yeah, yeah. I think with regards to brand loyalty, I think there's a lot of people who have brand loyalty to other like X Transbots and all that other stuff, and don't really care too much about fans toys. And
No, I know, but
But
I'm
like-
just saying, but they don't have the competition doing the same figures like we saw like 3 years ago. You know? what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Totally. Like I'm sure I hated those competitions, and they tend to drain out your wallets because you really don't know which one you want to go with, and I like it that they're doing other characters and maybe doing older characters that we've gotten before, but they're upgrading them, and it's always a good option, and especially for new people coming into the market. So
Yeah.
they're getting a piece of the action, and then if they're going to fall in love with Fans Toys, let them fall in love with Fans Toys. It's up to them to determine on which manufacturer that they're going to fall in love with.
Yeah.
Brian, do you still have that Toy World, Jazz?
Yeah, and I still like it. I mean,
Yeah, he was a good figure. He
couple
was
big
good.
gripes. There's the head
The
sculpt's
panel.
not as good as the other ones in that,
Right.
that panel,
But
and
that-
of course the gap right here.
The
in his
gap was what
forearms.
killed. Yeah, I was just
But
gonna
I
Oh,
say.
it looks so
but I s-
2018. Ugh.
But
I
Brian,
still,
that
I still love it. I still love this
Yeah.
thing. It's the homage to the toy. I just
Yeah.
love it so good.
Yep.
So much.
but that kind of fits your
Yeah.
collecting.
Yeah.
That Toy World one. So.
What's the one on the end? Generation Toy, like the IDW one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's a nice figure too. That one.
Yeah, that was.
Wow, that
was
used to look. It used to look so much cooler.
Yeah. The thing I liked about that one was that it was a modern like take on.
That,
Yeah.
that one had the magnetic doors too.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that alt mode is just ridiculous.
He looks all kind of fucking crazy in the back right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that one looks very.
goggles.
It looks very alternators to me now from behind.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
very alternators like.
Had a nice pearlescent paint on that.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that paint was good.
Oh
I think I
well, it was nice knowing all you guys, but you gotta go. Fans Toys is coming. Bye. Your old news now only be used for reference. Or that guy's like, oh, I think this was just fine. I got it for $20. It's okay.
I mean, all those, like I said, the fan toys took a while to do this. So, I mean, all these basically had their day in the sun.
They just waited. Like, well, Fans Toys is gonna make a Tigertron. I mean, Car is making a Tigertron. All right, fine. We'll release our Jazz. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Looks good.
Well, that's that's the question on which one is that which one's coming out next for the official. Like out of the G1, like is it going to be Jazz? Is it going to be Trailbreaker? Is it going to be Mirage?
I expect it'll be
It's like, how have they not-
Diaclone
Well-
Hound.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's crazy to me that they haven't done like a Jazz yet.
Did anyone get the I know Dust had gotten them, the tune version of like Smokescreen that just came out, that like the plus or the
I got him. It's a nice looking.
So,
it's a nice looking figure.
does it have Nissan on the box, Dom? Do you know?
I can't
Nissan
remember.
Datsun.
Yeah, we'll have
got-
to.
I'm assuming it has to because of the license, but like I gotta check.
But I don't think
can't
that
remember.
alt mode has like the logo on it anymore. I'm just curious because
No, I don't. It's not, their logo is not on the figure. But
Like, I know, like,
it's on
yeah.
the box.
the original Sideswipe, had the official Lamborghini endorsement. You hear that's part of why they can't get Porsche or some of the other things. But I wonder if there's some way that if they do that plus version that helps get around that. Probably not.
Well,
The one on the
Porsche's
left is
out.
the new one, right?
Porsche's owned by Volkswagen.
They should just abandon that though, and like do what they did with the Bumblebee and make it look like just more like the Penny Racer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I wonder if they, if that's one way to potentially get there. Because I don't know how many of these other cars, they're going to do unless they don't get that, they don't get the licensing.
Yeah.
Which one's the new one?
This one
that
All
one.
right.
Yeah, that looks good.
with
That
the
does
chin.
look good. Yeah,
They changed these up too.
made it more tuned. Yeah, looking.
You know, big.
that looks nice.
But see, there's no
It- it's
manufacturer
it's got the-
logo
it's-
on that nose of the Datsun that there is for that
Nope.
first version.
No, yep, it's not there. No,
Mhm.
but it's the paint pops like the it just I don't know. It's not much of a difference, but at the end of the day, it's like it's the detail that kind of gets
But I
pulled
feel
away.
like I feel like it's the same with the Blue Streak though. Like that new one that they put out. Something about the color of it and the new face sculpts, because now you could change like the faces. Like it does add to the figure, even though it's
Mhm.
based off of old.
They made another Blue Streak. Well, I guess
But
they did.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Yep,
Yeah.
they did. They
I
did
just-
a plus. Yeah.
I just always felt like the Datsun mold was just a little too short. Yeah, I thought that was one that the bot needed to be just a little bit taller to me.
Yeah.
If I wish I was a little bit tall.
Yeah, I was-
Hey, that's my song, guys. Come
Wish I
on.
was a baller.
I like this mold a lot. Like a lot. I think I have it 4 times. I bought the yeah, there he is. He's hiding behind Juno. The blue and silver one.
That's I think that's the only one that I didn't get.
That one was nice. The blue streak.
Yeah, he came with a prowl head too, which is kind of interesting.
Those are nice colors.
Stunning.
You're stunning.
Oh, thank you.
interesting.
You're welcome.
When you scroll down, I saw that core whatever Devil Star, whatever it's supposed to be called now. I actually went in on that pre-order today.
Oh,
Did you-
very good.
Oh man.
Zeta Toys Unicron.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. Let me just before I can't get it, and we'll probably want it later. I was like, let me just get it. Once I was confident that I knew that it was actually going to come with the head and wings, I'm like, all right, I'll buy it.
How big is this again?
18 inches.
So in
Oh,
2022, Jose will bring that to NJCC, and Brian will bring his HasLab Unicron. Like,
Yep. You can buy either one.
Yeah.
But the thing that does suck
No,
though is that I saw a recent picture of that like next to the Omega Supreme from Siege, and Omega's bigger. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. That really, the size I think doesn't make a difference, and that's why I was in on the Hasbro.
And Omega is like saying, "Don't believe the hype." Unicron is a shit.
I mean, it looks fucking gorgeous. It's a gorgeous looking piece, but I mean, the size does disappoint me. Like, I wish it was a
The
little.
engineering's what impresses me. But I mean, when you look at it from this, looks great. But I tell you, man, when you start getting up close, it's like, But other than that, I mean, the other thing too is, I remember when we saw very first initial images of this thing, and they were talking about the size of it, and like I'm looking at the hands, and I'm like, before we knew the price, I had a feeling it was going to be more on the cheaper side, because you can just tell when you start looking at some of these more expensive figures, the mold work and stuff, and the joints that they use for a lot of things. But I was like, this hand looks like, dude, this is like old school combiner type hand. Like the hands they have now for figures this big are just way more ornate and detailed, and
I don't know. It
more
might
going on
change.
with the joints.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I don't think we saw any. I guess those are ball jointed. I can't really tell. So you can get some splay out of them at least.
But I am impressed, like with how clean, like it looks.
Yeah, the engineering, right?
Yeah, very
awesome.
clean looking bot. Looks like Unicron. It's Unicron right there.
I mean, what did Hasbro do again? They it was a shell former, right? But
Pretty much,
here
yeah.
they found a way to bring all that shit in and fold it around and do this. It's very smart, man. It's very clever. Very cool. I dig it. Also, too, the wings, and on the Hasbro one, I think that the way they connect in, there isn't these modes of articulation. So when you put this thing into a dynamic pose, I think the wing, like if you put this shoulder sticking out frontwards, like here,
Mhm.
I think the wing on the Hasbro one, you're gonna have a wing in your face,
Oh, for
basically.
real?
Yeah. So
But I don't think you can put. I think for that Hasbro one, you're not putting it into any dynamic pose. You're just
well,
going to leave
it's
it
got
up there.
the joints. Why not? You know.
Doesn't mean it's gonna
Well,
hold.
believe me.
But
Yeah,
it definitely
But
looks-
you're gonna need that
gonna
stand
need
to hold that
stand.
thing up.
Yeah, you
right.
probably
Just because it has joints doesn't mean it's supposed to move.
Oh, just because you have a mouth doesn't mean you
Yeah,
can make
true.
words come out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That shit
Yeah, the
does-
hands are ball jointed at the knuckles.
Yeah, there they are.
yeah. I mean, the bot looks good. It's a good looking bot.
Yeah, I think that robot looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably look really good with some legend stuff.
Yeah, that's a for sure. Unicron Legends. Legend scale Unicron.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
But I definitely want to check it out. I was like, all right, I'll get it because I mean, honestly, I think that will be an easy resale, like easy. If I ever did want to get rid of it after the fact, so I mean, look at that. That looks great.
It's deep. Do you think these are the horns from his head? No, they're not.
No.
Right? These are.
No,
Are you in on this, Dave? Are you getting this
No,
one?
no, I'm not. I'm
You're
gonna
not?
wait it out. Yeah.
you're gonna wait it out. But I mean, what options do you got though, as far as waiting it out? Like, you think it's gonna get cheaper, or like,
I'm just gonna wait it out until it's actually out. You know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I just don't think this is gonna
But then what if
pre-sell
it
out.
sells out? What if
Yeah,
it
it's
sells
not gonna
out?
sell
What
out.
if it sells
Yeah.
out?
Then I'm gonna wait for Jose to sell his and be like, "Yo, Jose, you ready to sell your shit, bro? You said it's a quick sale. You got one now." No, just kidding.
Contingency plans, yo.
Well, I tell you, man, that Hasbro one that I regrettably purchased is I'm just gonna open it, take the head out, and just put the head on display. I think that's basically what I'm gonna end up doing.
That's Brian. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard you say on this show so far.
Well, I think it comes with a
$600
stand.
fucking
It came
toy. How
with
much
a
is that
stand
thing
for that.
cost? $600. 600.
Yeah, but you don't understand. I guess
Look
like that
good.
means I could display it. I could display the head I could display it in planet mode separately.
Yes,
Oh,
you
okay.
have like
That's-
the head
that's
floating
different.
around Cybertron.
That's different.
I mean, to be honest, I was just more intrigued of coming home one day to a really big box in the front of my house. Like that's an experience. And I
That
want
sure
that.
is. I tell you that.
Yeah. It's like,
Well, you can just take your Unicron, like for the Hasbro, transform it into planet mode, spray paint it gray and blue, little tabs of blue and stuff, and just have this one, the Fans Toys Unicron, just like
Excellent.
crashing over him as Cybertron. I don't know. You do shit. I don't care. It's like I'm just happy that in times like these, Transformers are still being made. I'm as slow as it's coming into a crawl in regards to who's making Transformers and how fast they're coming out. It's nice to see if they're still making, because there's definitely going to be a day in the distant future where these Transformers aren't going to be coming out unless the movies revamp themselves or some type of fucking cartoon series comes out that everybody loves. But other than that,
They're gonna need something, right?
yeah.
Something to make the franchise pop to keep it going.
Yeah, because you got to remember the Michael Bay movies was what made Transformers what with the right or wrong. It's kept it in the mainstream, and companies like this to keep producing them and making and pushing them out. So
Yeah.
if you don't have that mainstream kind of advertising or media that's supporting this toy line, I think it'll die.
I don't know if I
did.
can agree with that.
Well,
No,
They'd be making movie toys then.
Earth Wars is still, like, as far as like a mobile game, still going strong. And then I mean, you got Cyberverse, which I'm assuming kids are watching if they keep making toys of it,
Yeah, but I haven't checked out Cyberverse yet. Like, I haven't watched any of those shows, any of that cartoon. or
Yeah,
anything
no,
like
it's not.
that,
It's
so.
not for. I've tried like two, but it's not what I'm interested in. The Netflix stuff looks really good. Like that looks very mature. It's what I'm looking forward to. But the Cyberverse, I tried just like with RID, because I'm like, oh, it's an updated animation, like it looks clean, but when you get into the story and what's going on, it's not catching me.
Yeah, I don't know. You can share your point of view, JD. I just feel like if history repeats itself, there's definitely going to be a sleep mode in regards to Transformers, and I don't know whether we're there or is it coming? I don't know, or whether it reinvent itself and do what it did in the 90s. We don't know.
Are they not making the sequel to Bumblebee?
Well, I don't know whether there's. I haven't read anything. I'm not up on that. So, but, Bumblebee really wasn't successful either. So.
Oh, it wasn't. I thought it did well enough where they probably would have considered moving forward in that direction.
I think it was a better movie than what it did in the box office. You know what I mean? Like when I watched it, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good, but I think most of us were hesitant to go watch it in the theater, and that's
because the damage was already done.
Right.
In regards to it's that whole Han Solo, the solo movie theory where you're gonna people.
Oh, that's gonna suck. But meanwhile, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. They never gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But JD, I don't know. Like, you think Transformers people are still going to make Transformers out there because it's funny too because Marvel is at a changing point too in regards to where it's going and how big
fans are fans. Like they know that they know the fans are there.
Yeah,
so it's not a matter of Michael Bay movies keeping this in the mainstream light. You know what I mean? The Michael Bay movies keep the Michael Bay shit in the mainstream light.
Yeah, but I think when Michael Bay movies were coming out, they were doing classics, and classics were taking off. Generations were taking off. All those figures were also taking off at that time because they were out there pleasing the older fans, and the new Michael Bay movie figures were pleasing the newer fans. Getting into the line. So it just. I feel like with what was happening back during the Michael Bay movies, it was upfront and it was giving it the cash, the money or the financing to push out these figures. And if it doesn't have that, then I don't know. I would think Hasbro
Fans Toys isn't benefiting from this, and you know what I mean.
Granted, yes, I agree.
Any of the movies, G1 fans are buying the G1 stuff. I'm just looking at it simplistically, not that I'm arguing or anything like that.
Yeah. I think where you guys are getting the confusion is Dom. I think just means in the Targets and Toys R Us's and Walmart of the world that it was still relevant.
It kept the name alive.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Because when it comes to the third party shit, that's just a fraction of what they sell, Transformer wise.
That's
we're not a majority when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, if you're buying third party, you're in deep into collecting. There's no way that somebody's not going to question whether you're really.
I think if you're into third party, is the Michael Bay shit has no relevance.
Exactly.
Just like JD just said, doesn't have relevance. Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree with that.
Anyway,
but. But I think with Marvel too, it's with these new with the new line of movies that are coming out, we went through a series of Marvel cinematic movies that were great, and it really boosted up Marvel to the point where anything Marvel it was out there, everybody was buying, and to this day now it's everybody's catching up with that. If you're getting into the collection right now, you're going back and buying a lot of those figures, and you're kind of late to the game, but I'm sure people are after Infinity War and watching Endgame and everything was trying to go back and buy a lot of those movieverse figures. But at the end, this now going forward, it's is the movie going to carry that through? Is it going to stay as strong as it was? And that's a question mark to be determined.
Yeah. Let's see.
Like like I would be interested to see what Black Widow does and how well it does in the in the movies. Like, you know,
Yeah, I almost feel like it's too late for that. But I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see how that does. I mean, especially now with everything that's going on.
And you got to pull Spider-Man away from it. Like, you know, I know Spider-Man movies come out, it draws the crowds regardless because it's fucking Spider-Man. But
Spider-Man,
you know, all these B-list characters for Marvel, like Black Widow and some of the movies that are coming out now with what they're doing in this new storyline. I wonder what that's going to pull the crowds like it has back.
I think it'll definitely be above like Ant-Man level, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that they have such a formula that they don't make bad movies. It's just, you know, is this going to be as good as this, or you know,
exactly.
So there's just levels of good like now when it comes to it, because I don't think any of their movies are like inherently like bad or awful, you know. So you'll just have to see where it fits in that hierarchy.
And I'm sure they have that, like they definitely have that, like, oh, where's the story going? Because it is a connecting story. It's not like a standalone story in regards to what they did in the forest. Everything was connected, and then the story continued through several of those movies. So I'm sure they're going to capture that, where people are going to go into the next movie to watch it so they can see where it progresses to, and the little teases and how they all connect and everything. So.
Damn, I'm looking at this picture again of the Siege Omega next to that, and it's like, wow, like he makes the Unicron look small because he's like not even as beefy as the Omega. Like Omega's like chunky and
got milk.
This thing, this thing looks small. If they would have if they upsize it by like another like 15-20%, it'd probably be good.
just get him a box. Lord of the Ring reference. I know Dave will get that. Fetch him a box, man. Fetch him a box.
All right, well, let's start wrapping up, or else we're gonna start losing Gary. So we
already lost him.
Oh, the camera already went off. Uh-oh.
The BTM ADD kicked in here. Started losing people.
Oh man! All right, well, let's run it down to your Gary. You there?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. He didn't say anything too. Like if he was out. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. And if anybody wants, throw it in the chat real quick. If you want us to throw a link out there, I'll throw a link out there. If you guys want to come in and hang out. But if not, we'll just call it a night. And good discussion, guys. I mean, you know what? This stuff, there's people's level of excitement for upcoming Transformers. There it goes. That's exactly the picture I was looking at. People's level of excitement for this stuff varies, but I'm digging all the retail stuff that's coming out because that's what I'm really collecting. And the occasional like third party piece. I'm still enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? That level of excitement as far as future releases, it's give or take. I think we're just so jaded. We've been in it so long. I don't think, what can excite you, nowadays. We've almost like seen it all. But I'm just happy to see that they're still releasing stuff and putting stuff out, even if it's not
what? I'm gonna tell my wife that, Jose. I'm gonna go downstairs and go like, "Bitch, I've been seeing it all. You better switch it up and do something else."
Spice it up. Spice it up.
That's when she walks into it. Yeah, that's when she walks into the bedroom with a strap on.
Either that or Dom, you're gonna get
I didn't mean that.
Either that or Dom's gonna get a call in the middle of the night. Hey man, can I come sleep on the couch? I tried.
Now it's gonna be like, no, social distancing. You're not allowed
here. Oh, wife swap delayed.
Sleep on the floor of your toy room.
Postponed.
All right, and with that, we'll call it a night. Let's go around the yard. Get the where you at. Dom, I'll start with you, bro.
I'm on Facebook, Dominic Grasso, here Tuesday nights with you guys, and stay safe, stay safe, and keep chatting around. I know these times are going to get kind of boring, but that's what we got the internet for, and chat it up, and reach out and have some fun and make some a light of with all the craziness that's going on.
Then why is this
outside.
the first time I'm hearing from you in a week?
I know. Yeah. I tend to crawl back in my cave. I'm definitely a bear in that regards.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
All right, JD.
Yeah. Hey, people. Find a fucking hobby. Something.
Buy some toys.
Grow a beard.
Just no. Find something constructive to do with your time.
Yeah, stop watching
Stop
the news
freaking
all
the
day.
fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop
fuck
watching
that
the fucking
news shit.
news. Turn the fucking Facebook off. Turn the
Word.
Instagram off. Just fucking find something to do. Find something constructive. Yeah, anyway. Hate me or not. Pigment surgery on Instagram, Xbox Live. Shelf gravy. We got a bunch of stuff we got to post.
Yep.
It's been pretty busy.
Nice.
And yeah, Tuesday nights here with you guys. Do we have a show tomorrow?
Turn in mañana noche
Ooh.
or finger de bango.
So yeah, I guess that means that we have a show tomorrow. So
Nice.
Yay.
You're not lying. Wink,
New
wink.
episode. New episode.
Oh, I know. I figured it out.
All right, Gary.
Yes, you can find me in Facebook. It's usually the best place.
Look. All right, Brinkalizer.
Hey, I just want to let you know I'm still sporting these turtles.
Oh
my
yeah,
turtles.
those are good turtles.
Yep. And
Toidles.
this is
I
my
love
shredder.
turtles.
That's my
Okay.
shredder.
Kids.
Ooh,
Third party shredder.
Yeah.
I picked
the first Gokin one. That thing's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Facebook, Brinkalizer on Instagram, and of course tomorrow night on this channel.
FB. New episode of FB.
Dude, we might be able to start early.
Fair bango.
Might be able to start early. Ace doesn't have to work, I don't think.
Right after Stasis Lock. Oh,
That's right. When's
All right.
Stasis Lock end? Like
8.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, if you could start early, that'd be great. I'd love to follow it through once.
Oh, I just saw that meme in my head. Yeah, if
I
you could
always
start
start-
earlier, that would be great.
I always start off. I'm in the chats for the first 20 minutes, and then I fade.
We'll
And I get made fun of, and I listen to it the next day.
I'll submit that. I'll submit that request to corporate. We'll see. What we'll see what happens.
Denied.
All right, Dave.
Sorry, I was on mute. Energon Addict on Instagram here on Tuesdays. David Colon in the Facebook groups. Thanks for everybody that listened.
Yes, sir. And I'm Harry BX on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out Verbally Challenge on all audio platforms here every single Tuesday night with my brothers here. New episode of Figure Banging tomorrow, as these guys said. And check out MPSB Theater this coming Friday around 9ish. On this very channel. And don't forget to check out other friends of the show, the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. Go check them out on YouTube and all audio platforms, and check out the Ladies of the Realm on the Total Package podcast as well.
I've been really enjoying the new shows. It's good stuff.
Yep. So check those out if you don't have enough stuff to listen to. If you're bored, plenty of content out there to keep you busy here throughout the Cool Table Network. Speaking of the Cool Table, you can check out that podcast hub on Facebook. Links to a ton of other like-minded podcasts within our network. Check out those other great shows. And Crashbox Customs on social media for all your Mezco and diorama needs. I heard if you mentioned the word realm,
Realm?
you might get a surprise gift with your purchase. And shout out to the chat squad that hung out with us tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everybody that watched and everybody that's listening. And with that, we'll see you next week. All right. Take care. Stay safe.
Cool.
Peace out.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Say it with me now. Realm.